So hello guys, we will be watching the second round of the qualifying between Kamil Majchrzak and Daniel Galan. Why this much? Nothing in particular. I mean, it was just one of the later matches today. Maybe something in particular. Obviously, Kamil Majchrzak is a compatriot of mine. We already have Max Krasnikovski into the third round. In fact, this is the first time since 2022 Wimbledon when we actually have a male's sort of a pole in men's slam qualifying. And well, we have a chance that we will have both in the third round. So far, Krasnikovski beat Nava, and today he also defeated Napolitano. Majchrzak yesterday pushed through Michael Zhang. But let's see. I mean, obviously, he's facing a seed here, Daniel Galan, who's got some US Open history. Made it through qualifying a few times. Also beat Stefanos Tsitsipas in a pretty like very decisive manner a couple of years back in the first two sets. He only lost one game. So, we'll see. I think that yesterday Kamil got incredibly tight against Zheng. He was like I've never seen him be so pushy on his backhand. Like it's happened on the forehand, sure. It's the side that tends to break down under pressure. But the way that he was playing, especially set point down in the second set, like I've never seen Kamil do that. I think there were a number of circumstances behind it. You know, one of them was just like returning to the Grand Slam qualifying stage after such a short time since his suspension, and yeah, kind of feeling all the emotions about that. You know, the Sinner case that was pretty much announced a few hours before his match, which for Kamil, as he has since posted on his social media, like it's really important because he feels like he is unfairly treated compared to someone like Yannick. Well, I totally get that perspective. I don't think he is aware of some of the other cases, like especially Bortolotti, but I totally get if you're Kamil, who was, basically like ITIA wanted to smash him. Eventually, he managed to get off with a 13-month suspension, despite also bearing no significant fault or negligence. So I get that from his perspective for sure. And I think there were a lot of reasons. Today, I believe he might be able to play a bit better. I think this is a matchup where he'll be feeling a little bit freely, where like Galan will have a stronger ball than Zheng and kind of be like more stable generally. And I think it might help Kamil perform. I mean, so far he's off to a good start, if not a flying start, getting 3 break points in the second game of the first set. Galan with some double faults, some early tightness, but here Majchrzak steps in, crashes. Was snapped. But anyway, I see a lot of you are talking. Someone has to protect the Polish players. For Jake, that's awesome that I'm a night owl. Um, I kind of go back and forth, to be honest. I mean, this year I've had months when I was not a night owl whatsoever. I was waking up at like 6 a.m., going for a run, and that's kind of how my day began. But I'm going to be a night owl for the rest of the US Open, that's for sure. As basically, that's my plan to kind of just like last year, probably do some content during the night sessions and yeah, watch some of the later matches. Um, Galan Tsitsipas a qualifying classic. Maybe I said something wrong. I don't know. Hi, Claire. And that was apparently not me. Yeah, anything else? Deep State International Table Tennis. Deep State. Okay, nothing else. Has Galan won a point? As Majchrzak is 3 games to love up. Didn't he win one in the opening game? Maybe. Let me check that. I think he might have won one in the very first game. Yeah, exactly. He won. He won one in the first game. But it's 12 on Majchrzak so far. While I was away, or I don't know, yeah, literally when I ended, I was just going on a huge monologue about Kamil really being so tight against Zhang, both guys giving the match away a few times, never seeing him being this tentative on the backhand as on the set point in the second set, but kind of stepping it up for the last 2 games. And I think today will be different. Well, right now, I mean, he is 3 games to love up, so maybe it's not a big statement. I was just saying that I think some of the emotions from the Sinner news emerging have probably cooled off in Kamil a little bit more. And I just think the matchup as well will be a bit more easy for him, and that Galan is just more predictable, more stable. You know what you're going to expect, whereas Zhenk was yesterday like could for 15 minutes play nothing to then just totally blow you off the court with the next 5 shots. And yeah, I would expect Kamil to play better. I don't know if it will give him the win. Obviously, Galan is a quality player. He's beaten Tsitsipas before in New York, so I don't know if it will be enough. But I think that after yesterday, I would kind of expect him to loosen up a bit more, and yeah, just get over that feeling that he had yesterday, probably as well, of like, I've made it, which is originating from the fact that at the beginning of the year he had no ranking due to that doping suspension, and right now he is back at the Grand Slam qualifying stage so early in his return. Speaking of return, finally Galan wins a couple of points on his serve as he actually gets a big one down the tee. Majchrzak unable to return. And also this point with Kamil kind of smashing his forehand cross court, but with absolutely no chance to make it, given how far off he was. But of course, he's up a break. He might start like playing a bit even more aggressive here in this game, just kind of look for something. He is spreading the court well with the forehand on the next point, and he indeed gets it. Virtanen job is a big one, and the Finn one. Oh wow. Fonseca Spizziri. Yeah, I think especially there's also, I mean, yeah, Virtanen job you mentioned, but of course Otto is going to play Pui. This is a big one tomorrow, 100%. If we get Bellucci Majchrzak, this is going to be also a phenomenal clash, I think. I mean, Mattia would still be the favorite, but just in terms of like viewing enjoyment, I think it would be fantastic. And there's definitely something that I'm missing at the moment. We still have JJ Wolf who can join Jerome Kim, or Quentin Wallace who can join Jerome Kim, which I think either combination is also just absolutely phenomenal. Oh yeah, I know which what I'm talking about. Aslan Karatsev, Buyun Chaoketa. Now this is a match. I mean, with Buyun Chaoketa, we knew he's in amazing form. Karatsev, we kind of just are looking at him and thinking, is he gonna play well here? Is he gonna? And well, so far he's been a beast. I know his opposition hasn't been amazing for the first 2 rounds, but well, this is when his opposition gets amazing. So I think actually the best match of the round 3 of qualifying tomorrow might be Karatsev Buyunchoketa. But of course, that's kind of heavily reliant on Aslan stepping up to the plate or not. I will probably post some sort of a tweet on the best qualifying round 3 matches, but maybe I will do it before the start of play tomorrow, like an hour before the start of play. I'll think about it. Definitely quite a lot of stuff to do tomorrow with the qualifiers thread, and also just counting the lucky loser opportunities. And yeah, there's a fair few other things as well. just kind of following it as it unfolds. Of course, we're gonna have the draw as well while the final matches of the qualifying are being played, and then eventually later that day we're going to have the qualifiers inserted into the draw too. Kamil had another breakpoint actually for love, but this is a massive serve out wide for Galan. I mean, double break just ends the set really here. So it's so pivotal for the Colombian to keep fighting if he doesn't just want to go a set down here. Obviously, he doesn't. We still have a lot of other matches as well going on in New York. I think all of the second round men's qualifying matches have already started. I'm not sure on the women's, but I'll check in a second. But I'll probably talk about it on a changeover or something like that. Just give the guys a couple of minutes here. Can Galan claim the first game on the board? Can he fight back against Majchrzak, who won who won 12 of the first 13 points of the match? It's a nice backhand return cross from Kamil. He is trying to find the forehand inside in, but it's not going to work. So it's 3-1. And Quento Alice has just defeated JJ Wolf. So it's going to be Alice against Kim. Now, this is another very entertaining match, of course, coming up tomorrow. Yeah, we still have 6 men's qualifying matches on right now. And for the women's, we have just started the last one, but we still have 6 of them as well. Yeah. Majchrzak Galan was initially supposed to be scheduled on a different court after Basavaredi Bolt, but it was not before 40 minutes past midnight. So when it reached 40 minutes past midnight and some other courts where I think this is the court where earlier Bu and Goyo were playing. So I think this is the same court. And when that court was free, they just allowed Kamil and Daniel to get an earlier start, which I think, of course, is perfectly sensible. That's a nasty smash miss from the pole now to go low 15 down. He had a breakpoint for love. Gotta stay clean. Gotta not allow it to get to his head that he was, well, one leg into the second set, into the one set lead already, basically. And now it's Galan dominating the next point. He gets to the net. Kamil trying to be a little cheeky with the backhand here. I think the pass being so soft, but that's actually not a good idea. And Galan is there to close out the angle, or to close the angle, actually, I should probably say, rather beautifully. Someone we will be missing at the US Open, but thankfully, at least he's playing this week. And I don't know why I just got reminded of him. I guess it was some memories of watching him at this stage, US Open qualifying in 2022. But Yibing Wu is in the quarterfinals at the Challenger in Jinan. And well, I don't know who he's going to lose to there. Like maybe Henning or Shimizu, but that's not until the final. If he loses, it's probably going to be due to his body breaking down. But yeah, that's also a guy who's given us some pretty nice US Open memories. Majchrzak approaching on his backhand, but yeah, I did not like the placement on that too much. And it's going to be 2 breakpoints for Galan. The pendulum swings, and we have an opportunity for the Colombian after just like 2 minutes ago. We had Majchrzak dominating completely and potentially looking at a double break lead. Now let's see if he can save these save these break chances, basically. Um, yeah, I think there was a ball there was a ball there that like Kamil didn't really know if to hit the forehand or the backhand with. If to hit it with the forehand or the backhand, it was just like straight down in the middle. First, he made a move to the forehand. He actually chose to stay on the backhand, and perhaps that's why the approach placement was a little weaker. Ooh, that's a missed chance for Galan. This is exactly the type of return that he wants to be getting in. Lots of spin, lots of quality at the Majchrzak forehand. It doesn't produce good depth, but the mid-court opportunity is missed by the Colombian into the net. So there's one more breakpoint. Can Majchrzak find some sort of a decent serve? It is good, yeah. Oh, is it a let really? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. I mean, I'm watching on mute, obviously. On my screen, I didn't even notice, but yeah, one more time then. And this time he's gonna have to win it on a second. Preferably serve to the Galan backhand probably here. That's what he does. We're gonna have a bit of a backhand trade, but it actually doesn't last all that long. Kamil still keeping Galan in that backhand corner though, and with good success. Yeah, he keeps the Colombian sort of pinned behind the baseline, deep in the left side of the court, and eventually gets a pretty nice forehand inside out in. And well, it's another breakpoint saved. So back to deuce. Clutch, quite clutch. I'm not saying he was like, not clutch for the entirety of yesterday's match against Michael Zhang, but there were definitely parts of that match where like that sort of play would have been unavailable to him. Goes down the line of the backhand here, and he forces another error out of Galan. Chance to go 4-1 up for the Pole, who I think a few years ago made the US Open third round. So just like Galan, he's not really like, this isn't a venue that's been unpleasant to him generally. Even if maybe his last memory of it is probably not that great. In 2022, I think he lost to Tabilo and was pretty much like coming back after an injury and yeah, just didn't play well at all. Anyway, 4-1 Majchrzak. So yeah, good stuff. Wolf Alice feels like heavyweight clash. Does anyone know how many L spots there are in the main draw? I mean, presently we don't have any, right? I mean, or did I forget about some sort of withdrawal? But I don't think presently we have any spots yet. Yeah, I mean, we still have only the Nori and Nadal withdrawals, so we don't have anything. But even if there's nobody by the end of the qualifying, you're just gonna find basically you're just gonna find for uh, Jesus. Yeah, sorry, it's pretty late. Yeah, basically you're still gonna have the draw, and you're still gonna have 4 players in the draw. So it's still important, sort of what order they get drawn in, basically, because the next withdrawals they could come and then they enter off the list. But yeah, for now we will actually not have a single lucky loser draw. Single lucky loser spots open. Spot open. Wu is healthy. Yes, that's kind of why I mentioned that. One lucky loser per quarter? That what? I mean, that this is nothing like that at all. There's no lucky loser spots guaranteed ever. It's only if someone withdraws after the. It's only after someone withdraws after the start of the qualifying. Am I paying attention to Winston Salem at all? Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I watched Tien against Marozhan yesterday. I watched Berg Sopelka at some point. I watched something else, I'm pretty sure as well. I don't remember now, but yeah, I watched a couple of matches. I mean, obviously, US Open qualifying is covering most of my attention, and Winston Salem being in the same time zone doesn't help. But yeah, I'm following it a bit. And yeah, today I also watched Svajda against Kotov. Zach was playing for his top 100 debut, so I was also following that as well. Galan 1-4 serving now. Can he get on top of that point? Hasn't really been able to do that for the most part in this match. Some good depth from Majchrzak, and he steps in to take that forehand down the line. What a shot, actually. And also the volley finish. Great touch, 15 all. Rinki Hijikata, I mean, isn't he still low seeding? I mean, he beat Borna Choric. Borna Choric right now is not really you know, a force in any shape or form. I mean, Winston Salem is just as random as usual. It's Winston Salem. It's the week before the Slam. Basically, anyone who is going to win the event from this stage is going to be a winner that doesn't really happen maybe not any other week, but a winner that wouldn't probably happen if the tournament was held, I don't know, in the Atlanta week even. Well, Atlanta maybe is not a good example, but you know what I mean. Well, Majchrzak had another chance to kind of keep working towards a double break lead here. Certainly could have made that final back in here, and then we actually have a conversation. But yeah, he doesn't end up doing it. Aziz Dugas posted a pic of him in New York. No idea why. I mean, well, he went there for the qualifying. He has nothing to do. So I guess he might as well go sightseeing, right? Eventually wasn't even that close to making it. Turns out that there was like no last minute withdrawal really in the qualifying. So I think number 5 on the alternate list. It's unfortunate, but not much you can do. Oh yeah, Ghosty, absolutely. I mean, we could have an entire draw of lucky losers, which actually would be insane. But yeah, we could. After the final round qualifying losers would go into the draw, then you go down to the second round, and then you can even go down to the third round. But yeah, there's no limit on the number of lucky losers in the draw. It all depends just on how many players pull out. How many words are there in the English language? I mean, it's definitely more than 10K. I don't think it's 100,000 though. Yeah, he did tell us in Porto he was F. I thought he was exaggerating a little, but turns out he didn't. And he wasn't exaggerating. I've actually been monitoring the situation because since we met him in Porto, he's been kind of like texting me about this as well. But it was fun to kind of also start looking for these potential opportunities. We were rooting for it, of course, but yeah, it didn't happen. I think the thing that got Aziz for the most part as well was the fact that so many wildcards like didn't even help him because Lerner Tien was below him anyway, so it didn't matter. Dominic, sorry, not Dominic Thiem, but Christopher Eubanks wasn't even signed up for the qualifying, so again, it didn't matter that he got a wild card. Aziz didn't actually go up one spot because of that. There was also the wild card for the Kalamazoo champion, of course, Matthew Forbes, who was nowhere near the entry cutoff for the qualifying. So again, that's another wild card that doesn't help him. Whereas, for example, at the French, like when they announced the wildcards, he went up 8 spots, right? So, and yeah, there are also some tennis tourists, Pablo Cuevas, Nicolas Kicker, who basically, well, like they knew they weren't going to win a match, right? But it is their right. I mean, they've earned their right to this protected ranking. They might as well milk it. I mean, I'm pretty sure any player who is complaining about this, while I do understand their sentiment, they actually would also do the same in their spot. Is the system just plainly wrong then? A little bit. I think it could be tweaked. But yeah, I mean, Kikar, Cuevas, especially these two, like, yeah, they knew they weren't winning a match in New York. So it is what it is. We've had this before, right? Tursunov, Sela, and the likes. By the way, another breakpoint for Majchrzak. He kind of played this great point at 1540, and yeah, it's gotten dangerous for Galan since there again. But he saves the first breakpoint, and I should probably say Majchrzak misses a wild forehand to allow him to. Yeah, he's my boy Aziz now, John. We're gonna fight for him. Am I a Majchrzak stan? He is one of my favorite Poles to watch. Probably not their favorite, but yeah, I would like to get him on the main tour again. I think that for his time there, he didn't actually achieve all that much. Like didn't it took him a long while to like be the top 50 player. He had some choking issues against Khachanov, for example, that 4-love lead in a grass round 2 in the third set, 4-love lead, of course. And yeah, I think that there's potential for a bit more at least. I'm not saying he's gonna like break the top 20, top 30, but I think he could have a better main tour career than he has right now. And the comeback has been fun to follow as well. think some of the aspects of his game have gotten a bit weaker. Like his, let's say, the difference between his A game and B game has gotten wider. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, he's been really firing ever since he got there. And when I talked to his coach Marcel Ducoudray, he said that like while they were practicing, gearing up for this comeback, like he could see it. You know, people wouldn't believe him. People said that, well, I mean, it's gonna take Kami like 2 or 2.5 years probably to get back to where he was, and he kind of like was just biting his tongue. You know, Mike Shack's coach, he was just like, I mean, he's playing so well. I should be saying, I should probably say that. No, I mean, I think he's actually going to do it, you know, just ultra fast. And he would have been right if he said it, but I totally get why. I mean, definitely some of the sort of ferocious hitting that he's coming up with after this comeback has been new, has been in a way at least. And even if the B game has declined a bit, maybe even if he's a little more erratic, well, the peaks have been high. And well, that's another peak right here as he breaks Galan again. I mean, to be honest, other than these two breakpoints that he saved, which was like the one moment he had to be really clutch, he's been kind of bossing this match. So yeah, at 5-1, I mean, you'd think that the first set is done. We'll see. Well, Galan is not really making sure that the first set won't be done. I mean, yeah, just I mean, he's making sure. I'm trying to say that he's making sure that the first set will be done with this backhand error. Just sloppy overall. I think Galan, there was already that moment when he could have gone double breakdown, and then I was thinking, well, he'll probably just kind of get to the end of the set and then try to reset for the second. Now, looks like he will have to do it anyway. Just that one opportunity really when he was 40-15 on the Majchrzak serve could have been 3-2 again, could have been back on serve, but now it's coming with 3 set points. My alarm clock is ringing. As I said, I was expecting this match to be a little later, and I was thinking maybe I will fall asleep. And in fact, we are pretty lucky. And actually, I will say you guys are extremely lucky that I'm here. Because it turned out that I woke up like 2 minutes before it was due to start from a very short nap. Anyway, 40-15, 2 set points for Kamil, and he will take the second one with a serve to the Galan forehand, which is, well, the return is netted. 6-1, less than 30 minutes, and yeah, Kamil has been dominant. Galan needs to do something very quickly. Yeah, you probably don't need to school me on that, but I get that. Majchrzak is not an easy name to. Majchrzak is not an easy name to pronounce for a foreigner. In fact, well, we are very used to it because it's a pretty common surname. There's this Krzysztof Majchrzak actor as well, but yeah, I totally get that. That's not easy. And Joanna Jędrzejczyk is how that UFC fighter, right, is pronounced. I think she is an like MMA fighter or whatever. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, yes. That's pretty similar to Jadwiga Jędrzejowska, the Polish tennis legend, but no, it's yeah, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Today I watched Jakub Jędrzejczak, another sort of up and coming Polish youngster. I don't think you. Yeah, exactly. That's Joanna Jędrzejczyk. A kind of an up and coming Polish youngster who I don't think maybe you're gonna ever like hear about, but well, he has some game. But his name was Jędrzejczak, not Jędrzejczyk. Um, yeah, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, a bit of a celebrity in Poland for sure. I've never won. I mean, I've never watched a fight of hers, but like she appears on TV frequently. She appears in like programs about sport and whatever. So yeah, I know who she is for sure. Seems like a cool person. Um, yeah, and let's mention some of the other matches. We've got Mattia Bellucci already through, so I think only 4 matches maybe left on the men's qualifying slate for today. As I think also Timofey Skatov defeated Baby Zhukayev. So currently we've got Maxim Cressy and Pierre Gerber stuck in a bit of a battle, and the deciding set, it's four games all. and deuce. We also have Hamad Medjedovic and Duja Idukovic, and this one might be going to a third as Duja is about to get into a 5-3 lead in the second set. Alex Bolt lost the opening set to Nishesh Basavaredi, but he's now up a break in the second. And of course, the last one is Kamil against Daniel, the match we're watching right now. And also on the women's, we've got Irina Shimanovic playing Maya Joint, Arina Rodionova against Irina Bara, Francesca, right? Is her name? Yeah, Francesca Jones playing Enashi Bahara, down 1-4 now. And also Rebecca Marino up 3-2 on Ariane Hartono. Anyway, let's get back to business. Has Majchrzak found the line here? I think so. Yes, he did. 6-1, 15 all. I mean, the worst that Galan can do to himself is obviously get broken here in a performance that's been pretty sloppy so far. That would be kind of like, yeah, the worst case scenario for him. As I said earlier, or maybe I didn't because that was around the time where it cut us out, but both Kamil and Max playing this US Open qualifying is a massive thing for Polish tennis on the men's side. I mean, we haven't had a single player in slam qualifying on the men's since Kacper Żuk in 2022 Wimbledon. So if they were both in the third round of the qualifying, that would be insane. Max is going to play Antoine Escoffier tomorrow, which is, well, surely winnable, at least. And Kamil would play Mattia Bellucci. We can already say that as Mattia defeated Federico Agustin Gomez for the second time in 2 weeks, after also beating him in the final qualifying round in Kerry. So, yeah, not an easy one for Kamil, definitely, if he gets through. Mattia has been in incredible form, almost broke the top 100 last week. I think he might break the top 100 with like even qualifying here, maybe. Or maybe he will need a main draw win as well. But yeah, certainly he's gotten one of the more in-form opponents. I think the overall qualifying draw for Majchrzak has been really tough. Like every single round, he gets a bit of a threat. Galan as well, like Gigante round one also isn't easy, but it turned out that Matteo was simply injured, and after pushing him for one set, it was just like it was enough for Gigante. Anyway, 40-15 Galan here, and he goes to the net, nets that forehand volley. Well, theoretically nothing very dangerous yet, but I think that's also how he lost his previous service game from 40-15 up. Seemingly nothing, seemingly he will probably clean it up, but it actually didn't happen. So let's see here, 40-30, and it's a very sloppy backhand error again. I think Majchrzak is definitely hitting like more aggressively and just, yeah, with more conviction than yesterday against Zheng, but this has also been a rough performance from Galan. Like, yeah, just off the ground, he's just making error after error, not absorbing well, but also not creating well, which, yeah, is a pretty rough combination. But let's see. Still not done, of course. Deuce. Majchrzak kinda on the front foot here, but I think he's gonna give the ball back to Galan now. And again, it's just like, yeah, it's just a bit of pace down the middle from Kamil. It's even of the forehand, which isn't as flat as the backhand. I mean, it's seemingly easier to handle. And Galan just doesn't, the ball just flies off his racket strings uncontrollably. I would like to see him maybe like, go back to his bench and change the racket, some new string tension or something. It's pretty crazy how many shots are just like that. Like he's just not controlling them at all. And well, a breakpoint for Majchrzak right away in the second set. But that's nice. That's one of the best points that Galan has played so far. Maybe there could have been a bit more sting in the Majchrzak forehand. Maybe it's kind of set up for Galan in the middle of the court. But still, I mean, we haven't seen inside-in winners for like this from the Colombian the entire match, really. So this is what he's hoping for. This is what he has to be playing if he is to take this match. Just deadly when he saw that opportunity, when he saw that the ball coming in from Paul wasn't going to be quite as good as the previous ones, and yeah, just completely stuns Majchrzak there. I think Kamil was not expecting the yeah, basically even the bravery from Galan to go for that in that moment, given how he's been playing. But well, still not out of the danger zone, of course. We've got deuce for Galan now, and a second serve. Majchrzak puts the return in play. Galan trying to create on that forehand side again, and he's actually going to get an error off the Majchrzak forehand. So this might be a very gutsy hold for Galan, as he hopes to just get a restart, get off to a fresh start, and look to make this second set just nowhere near as sloppy as the opener was. Can he do it on this very point? Can he get off to that fresh start? Yes, he can. The first game of the second set goes to Daniel Elahi Galan. How's that Cressy Bear match going? Okay, still on serve in the third set. Of course, that's a bit of a vintage matchup in terms of their playstyle. Lots of serve and volleying there, I would assume. And Medjedovic, Ajdukovic are indeed going free. Hamad also got broken again in the second set, so it's Ajdukovic who's going to start the second set on serve. I wonder how the Serbian is holding up physically. He's not been playing well this US Open. I have to say that. That's for sure. Diego going to play Vilius Gaubas in the final round tomorrow. I know that's one that will attract some attention as well. Personally, I don't know. I mean, no clue who's going to win that. I think that section one was like super open as well. Tirante probably could have done a slightly better job against Schwartzman today. I mean, 80 something. I think it was like, yeah, over 80% first serve points won for Schwartzman, which with his serve, I'm not really sure if that should be happening. And Gaubas, well, I mean, he was not playing for hard courts for quite a while. He got into the US Open qualifying kind of last minute. I'm not saying in terms of the cut, although that's also the case, but I'm mostly saying in terms of getting the points last minute. And well, he might actually make the main draw as well. So a big story there, regardless. Personally, I think, as I said earlier, I said this about Team a couple of weeks ago that like once a player announces their retirement, I'm kind of like, well, okay, yeah, I don't really have that much interest in analyzing that player then. Like I kind of lost any interest in Dominic Thiem's comeback, to be honest. Or comeback, like there's no comeback anymore. There's no story that it's building up to. And Gasquet also did the same kind of right because they gave him that farewell at the U.S. Open, which basically just means that well, this is going to be his last season. I'm not saying this was his last match. I don't think it was, in fact, but yeah, it just pretty much means that he has now finalized the decision that he will not be playing after this year, which we were expecting, right? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for Gasquet to keep going. He said that earlier this year that like if he is in the top 100, he would continue, but right now it just doesn't seem like he will make it there. So I would assume a Bercy finish or maybe Metz. I'm not really sure from which part of France Gasquet is, but that could also decide it. But I think yeah, Bercy or Metz. That's probably going to be his best potential best chances to like yeah get a proper retirement there. Or maybe he wants to push it until Paris next year. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be in France. Ooh, and well, after that first game where it was Galan under pressure, Majchrzak is kind of leaking errors now. I like that introduction of the slice a couple of times here from Galan, just kind of making sure that he stays in the point, making sure that Majchrzak maybe doesn't have the cleanest contact point on the backhand. And well, two breakpoints. It was at what 3-1 in the first that Majchrzak saved in a row, and now he will have to save three. From this position, he will only need to save two, as the serve once again comes into his comes to rescue basically. Another good serve down the tee, but this one is returned. Nice, cracks that forehand cross court. Seems like an easy shot, but it's not necessarily always easy for Majchrzak, that kind of ball with his technique, which is yeah, he's definitely quite funky. And just one more. Again, it's a deep return from Galan, so this is the chance for the Colombian. And Majchrzak will throw out that forehand. Yes, this is one of these like yeah, just painful forehand errors on his side that They do tend to happen. There was a lot of them yesterday. So now he kind of, we're entering a different part of the match. We're entering a stage where now it's Majchrzak that has to show that he has the sort of guts to come back. Diallo had a brave win really earlier today. 2 match points saved from 3-6, 3-5 down against Tituan Droge. Of course, this is just 0-2 in the second set, but well, you've already seen that Majchrzak was doing fine while he was bossing the match. Now he kind of has to play, the second position, and we'll see how he handles that. Again, Galan surviving in the point with the slice. Will he actually win it as well? He still could. He's still in it. He will not eventually, but it kept him alive. It kept him alive. Maybe it's a decent strategy here to just make sure you're not going to miss as much as he did as the opening set. Set up that forehand, as we can see on the replay here with the slice. Eventually, though, he tries to go line and just doesn't really make it, but not much that he did wrong in this rally in general. The ideas were all okay. Yeah, Majchrzak kind of does live and die by the forehand. I mean, the backhand is definitely the more stable shot, the one that's more unpleasant to face as well, how flat it is, the shovel-like motion. But the forehand here, I mean, if he's hitting it like this from below the net, he's so tough to stop. But from time to time, we also get these wonky errors that you don't really want to see at this level. Galan drop shotting. Probably not going to cut it this lob from Majchrzak. Yeah. It was a nice situational idea from the Colombian for sure. The return from Majchrzak pretty short, uncomfortable, but Galan makes it work. Still 15-30 down. But at least it's not love 40 anymore. I mean, it's not, at least it's not love 40 like the hole that Majchrzak got into last game. Second set, though, I don't think we've seen any like spectacular returns from Majchrzak really, but he's been relatively aggressive with his returns, and that's kind of what he does again. Just going deep at the middle and getting the point started on his terms. He's still dictating in it, but once again, Galan gives him issues with the slice. It's kind of the middle of the court. I think Galan himself was like maybe not perfectly positioned for it, but then Majchrzak makes the error. Tries to lift that backhand cross of the slice, and it's gonna be out. It's gonna be wide. So yeah, seems like Galan is kind of finding something there, just extending the points a little more smartly and not trying to get into a hitting contest anymore, because that has not been working out too well for him. Now we get a pretty nice forehand cross return from Majchrzak, and again he kind of kickstarts the point on his terms. Galan is like a percentage play god now, but he actually misses the finishing blow. But yeah, this was another nice slice from him. This was like a shorter one, inviting Majchrzak to attack the net. Well, that's what the poll did. Like there was no other option really there, and Galan really should have made that final forehand line. So again, like Galan played pretty much everything right in this point until the very last shot, and he will have to face a breakpoint right back. Service long again. I mean, just kind of on intuition, I would say that his percentages have been pretty down as well, at least in this set. And well, that actually comes back to bite him, because Kamil just finds a really deep backhand return at his feet, and the break is restored. Yeah, just not finding his first serves, I guess, in this game. Daniel Galan, that was the most important thing. Majchrzak hitting a bit more clean on the forehand this time, and yeah, the last return as well was quite good. Kind of started ignoring your conversation at some points, but team deserves a wild card though, former champ. I mean, yeah, I was not really saying that he wasn't. I think he does, but I just lost interest in his comeback because it's not leading to anything. Gus cannot announced anything formally. Yeah, but he had a big farewell ceremony today, which pretty much means it was his last US Open. Is it going to be Bercy? Is it going to be Metz? Is it going to be Roland Garros? I don't know. Nick Rybakina at 7 in his power rankings. Um, well, nah, that's not true. I mean, right? I mean, I understand that he did that in the sense that okay, I understand that I'm not questioning the fact that he did. Why he did that, I think is it has to be some sort of bias. How on earth would you put someone like okay, because obviously you're gonna put Świątek over her and Sabalenka over her. Are you going to put Jessica Pegula? I think so. Maybe like it's doable. Are you going to put Coco Gauff over her? Mm, questionable, but I can understand it. But after that, it's just the wild, wild west. You cannot really put Rybakina lower than 5 or 6. Sort of regardless of what's happening, I think, with her physical state. Anyway, Majchrzak seemingly back to feeling a bit more comfortable after restoring that break. This was Eva Svoboda on our screens. She runs like 60 meters indoors and 100 meters outdoors. And of course, this is Jerzy Janowicz on our screens. I don't know if just a second ago, I don't know if that was also a sexy Polish athlete. Probably not the best judge of that, but well, is he still an athlete? He might be, but not in tennis. Yeah, sure. He would have been the goat. Um, I actually think the achievements that he got are probably his peak. Like I think he kind of had his peak, but it was just incredibly short. Like there was no middle ground. He got the peak achievements that he probably would have achieved, but at the same time, like he just didn't have the long years of playing at the top. So maybe he actually would have had more of these runs. 2012 Bercy final, of course, 2013 Wimbledon semis. Could have been leading Murray 2 sets to 1 up. But well, a few things, of course, contributing: injuries, character as well. Like, yeah, he's quite the character, and well, it was what it was. But the fight, I mean, the attempt to come back was fine. Was fun both times actually. 2020, early 2020 when it was snubbed by the pandemic, and 2022 when he had some great moments, but then lost to Choinski in Szczecin, and he was like, "No, if I'm losing to Jan Choinski, I'm retiring." Or I'm actually not retiring. I'm just not going to announce anything for the next 50 years, and I'm going to keep making people think that I might play. By the way, I mean, I just said that I fairly love that like Majchrzak is seemingly back to being more comfortable again after restoring that break, but now we're going to have Galan winning 3 points in a row and getting a break point. This last combo pretty nice, how he turned defense into offense as well, then cracked the forehand when he had the opportunity to. So Majchrzak worked hard to get the break back. Is he going to have to work hard again? Well, it's not easy to win this point despite the good serve, but Galan, thankfully for Majchrzak, will not make the backhand down the line pass. This was could have gone both ways. Up until a certain point, certainly could have gone both ways. This is a better smash from Kamil than the one in the first set, that's for sure. I mean, first of all, it's in, and second of all, it also ends the point. So it's like 10 times better, really, if you think about it. Than, well, I guess the first one also ended the point. It was just wasn't in his favor. But yeah, one more here. And I think that's an ace on the line, yes. So after saving the breakpoint, he is back. Yeah, what Luki is mentioning about the shop or whatever, like the barn or something like that, is about basically Jerzy Janowicz once famously saying stuff about like the Polish training system and how they don't really have venues where they can play in the winter and they have to train like in barns and stuff. And well, he was right at the time, that's for sure. I think a lot has improved about Polish tennis um, since that time, about the development of juniors, about the facilities. So, but at the time, I think he was perfectly right. Ooh, a bit of a crazy rally here. Majchrzak trying to be a wall at the net, but he wasn't able to make it. Loki is also talking about the IGA exhibition. Korda being the boring one, the most boring one on the court. Wasn't invested in these at all. Brody 2 is Liam done after making the top 100. I mean, getting back up there would be unrealistic, but getting back to like the challenger level, why not? Just needs some sort of, I don't know, like a few wins here or there, right? He's just not getting them this year. Is he like what 410 for the year or something like that? Yeah, it's just. But yeah, it happened at the right time. I mean, at pretty much the most unfortunate time for him. But I think it's very often the case when these like players who are stuck for a while, they kind of push towards a better ranking and they kind of go all out, body, mentally, like body wise, mentally, physically. Yeah, they just kind of go all out to get that milestone, and then that's when something hits. That's when they just can't really do it anymore. I think something like that was recently taught to me by Laurent Locoli as well. That like after that 2022 campaign, his body was just kind of done. Just really needed a break because it was too much. He was just pushing. Well, the implication was that he was, well, maybe not. I don't think he thinks that he was pushing above his weight. I think he just thinks that, well, his body wasn't ready for the sort of damage that playing at that high quality sort of week in week out would do to it. And then yeah, I think for Liam maybe something similar also would have happened, but yeah, of course his career is not over yet. The top 100 portion of it though, that might be 30 all now. Galan hit this really poor drop shot at 15 love, but he makes up for it with a nice touch volley here at 15-30. If he misses that, he's in deep trouble, just like Jose Mourinho if he speaks. I guess Jose said big, not deep, but well, it's a homophone more or less. It's more or less a homophone. Excuse me, excuse my 2 a.m. rambling, right? But I actually really wanted to do a late match as well, other than the fact that I was back home at like 11 p.m. But I actually wanted to do a late match for another reason. I mean, tomorrow I'm just gonna have to try to stay up until well, actually I will have to like stay up until the very end of the qualifying, so it will be good for me to kind of reset my body clock, the circadian rhythms or whatever. Oh yeah, he broke the keyboard. That is fantastic. I think Luki is just referring to that, or Wookie, probably in Polish. He is referring to video of Janowicz breaking the keyboard and the mouse after losing a CS:GO game. There's a famous one where he plays this Polish streamer for like $1,200, and it's a 1v1 shooting contest on like some CS:GO map, and then they play again, and he loses again. And I'm not sure if it's after that, but I think it's after that. After he loses that twice, he just completely smashes his keyboard and like the mouse and whatever he really has next to him. It was pretty wild, yeah. And if it was, especially like if it was more in the social media era, like if it was today, I think it would have been an absolutely legendary clip among like not only Polish internet but also Twitter and stuff for pretty much anyone. But well, I think it was just kind of a little before that time, so it's not as well known. Probably the most famous Janowicz clip is that "how many more times" thing from the Australian Open when he's arguing with the umpire after a line call. But yeah, I think that one could have been just insane. 2-3 from for Majchrzak. Of course, from Majchrzak's perspective is what I'm trying to say. He goes down the tee for an ace. Oh wow! By the way, Cressy and Herbert, they are stuck in a deciding set tiebreak, 7-6 for Cressy now, but two serves for Pierre. So yeah, it's really gonna come down who probably like in terms of Cressy makes his second serves, and in terms of Herbert just doesn't make any stupid errors. But Medjedovic is up double break on Ajdukovic in the third, so it seems like he has gathered up energy for it. I really don't know how Hamad is gonna be look like tomorrow. Like I think he's really played some pretty poor stuff in qualifying so far, and it's disappointing. I don't know if he's actually like very close to coming back to where he was, even if he seemed like that at the French, right, in the qualifying especially. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a tough test against Basavaredi, but maybe if he gets Bolt, who is very close to getting to a third set against Nishesh, maybe that would be easier for him. Lerner Tien, in the meantime, also defeated Thiago Saiboville, so he's already into the quarterfinals, is it? I think, in Winston-Salem. That's an amazing warm-up for him. Kamil spreading the court with the backhand well here. He comes in. Of course, it's that shovel motion on the backhand, but as uncomfortable as it might look sometimes, it's his biggest weapon. And he puts it away here. Lovely stuff. 40-15. Cressy up a mini break now. 8-7 and two serves. Now this should be a Maxime Cressy win, like from this position, but well, you never know, right? It's what I said on the preview stream that like this section looks very easy for Cressy, but because it's Maxime Cressy, you just never know. And in fact, he just lost the next point. It's 8-all now. You just never know. Cressy is not a reliable favorite. Far from it. And now they're going to be 8-all. So, of course, one player will get a match point in that Cressy Herbert thriller. In fact, I decided to just turn to it for a brief moment, and I see that it's going to be Cressy. But of course, this time it's going to be on the Herbert serve. And he also had a match point, by the way, before the tiebreak even began. So it's already the second one for Max. But yeah, on the Herbert serve, it's not as easy, of course, for him to potentially convert one. So we'll see how that goes. Majchrzak Galan, in the meantime, back to deuce. That was a sloppy backhand error from Kamil, especially in that first game point. And we are going to have a sort of more prolonged game there as well. Let's see if Herbert clinches that, or rather, if Cressy clinches that match point, and if not, we'll just come back to Majchrzak for sure. Well, it's an ace from the Frenchman, so that's a brutal match that they're playing right there, definitely, with the sort of thin margins that they have. And Majchrzak still in this game, up a game point again. Galan trying to reset with the slice once more. Gets to his forehand, which is, of course, what he wants. Kamil, though, lovely forehand down the line. The trajectory of this ball as well, it kind of swirling away. When he has that ball high up on his forehand, he is capable of a lot on it still. It's probably more when he's trying to lift it. It's kind of the same thing with Hurkacz, right? Which is pretty interesting, I suppose. I don't think they've really gone through the same coaches as kids, but they have some similarities on that forehand. It's still easier for Kamil to generate offense off it, but it's not it's not particularly obvious either. But yeah, 3 games all. Could have been easier. He was 40-15 up, but he gets it in the end. And well, I once again am kind of catching a bit of Cressy Herbert as Herbert wins the next point. So now it's Cressy who's going to have to save match points. And well, his return clipped the net, which obviously could go many, many different ways. Like we saw that Tiafoe Rune thing, right? Where on one of the match points it's just completely dead. And actually, there was also another one in the game prior. But this time it actually still kind of allowed Herbert enough time. And it's also a second serve. I mean, you know it's Cressy, so he's gonna go for it, and he's probably gonna miss it, right? Like that's kind of where you have to stand with Cressy. But actually, he made it. Well, he made the second serve. He had a pretty tough volley of like he had to pick it up off his belly. Like there was no way of telling whether he's gonna play it off the forehand, backhand, or whatever. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't even say he played it off his forehand or his backhand. Like that's not a forehand volley. That's not a backhand volley. That's just like a yeah. I have to play something. You know, the ball is coming at me. I have to react to it somehow. But he wins the point with it. Actually, pretty good effort. So 10 points all there. Sorry that I'm kind of glancing at that quite a lot, but well, it's kind of where it is at the moment. Majchrzak Galan will be probably where it is in at the U.S. Open qualifying, just in a few minutes as well. But well, it's going to be another match point for Cressy now, number 3 already. So he survived that pressure moment when he had a second serve to play on match point down, and now he's got a second serve he can potentially attack from Herbert, match point up. Can Cressy get over the line? Let's see this one more point before we switch over to Majchrzak Galan again. Oh wow, it's a double fault from the Frenchman. Yeah. So Cressy moves on, 12-10, saving 1 match point. Pretty nice reaction. He had a tricky volley to play there on that match point, and he managed to do it. So Maxime Cressy, just a tiny bit more clutch than Pierre Herbert in their serve and volley battle. Medjedovic 4-1 up on Ajdukovic as well. In the meantime, he is 2 breaks up, but he currently is facing a break point. Probably not a big deal given he's 2 breaks up. I mean, we'll see. And Basav already broke back with both serving for the set, so maybe Nishash can get it done in 2. I think that would be a very tricky opponent for Hamad Nishash, so I think Medjedovic may be rooting for Bolt. Anyway, Galan gets the game for free, so we're still on serve in the second set. We also still have the 2 women's qualifying matches going on. Rodionova and Joint won in the meantime, so a nice 5 minutes or so for the Australians. And Shibahara is up a set on Jones. Also, Hartono turned the first set around against Marino and is already dominating her pretty much 6-4, 4-1. Questions about like sort of who will win the second set. I'm pretty sure they're from a gambling perspective, and this doesn't make sense to answer, to be honest, because I'm not an oracle. It's not really something I can tell you. If anyone is sitting here and telling you that, oh, I think this guy is gonna win at the second set, I mean, they're just guessing. Do I think that the men's qualifying should be played to 3 sets? Well, I think maybe the final round, like at Wimbledon, is fine. I like that system. If they play the final round of qualifying up to 3 sets at in the final round, I think that's way more than enough time to kind of still be well rested for the main draw. As you said, it is a bit of a problem sometimes that some of the players that qualify, they've never played a best of 5 match. In fact, Kamil was once kind of hurt by this. I don't know if you remember that, but there was like many, many years ago at the Australian Open, he plays Kei Nishikori in the opening round, and he goes up 2 sets. He actually is completely outplaying Nishikori off the backhand. Like it was incredible. It honestly, it's still to this day maybe the highest level that Kamil has ever played at. Like the galore of backhand winners that he was finding there. He was just like straight up winning backhand cross court rallies with Nishikori that day. He looked like an incredible talent there. And yeah, after that, the match was over because he was just not ready for that intensity for more than 2 sets. Was it more of a problem of like lack of best of five experience, or was it more of a problem of just, yeah, his quality not being at the same standard as Nishikori, or like him not being used to the same type of quality that Nishikori brings, or like the same type of intensity that he has to bring to beat Nishikori? Maybe both, but I like that Wimbledon system where you have one round in the best of five scenario, and I think it's a cool mix. I probably wouldn't go for the entire qualifying to be best of five. That's seems like just a little bit too much, maybe even. Would be tricky to schedule. Would be tricky to find people to kind of watch it. Maybe even we'll see. I don't know, but yeah, I think that Wimbledon is a good sort of compromise. Just the best of both worlds, and you actually get some best of five experience. You actually get some comebacks from 2 sets to love down in the final round of qualifying that show you, okay, this guy is ready, this guy isn't. So yeah, that's where I stand there. How about the speed of the courts? From what I see and hear, they are slower than those from Cincinnati, where Iga played today. The ball bounced quite a bit. It's definitely slower than Cincy. I mean, the readings on the court pace index are supposed to be the same, but it's not only speed of the courts that determines the conditions, right? We also have the humidity, the balls, everything really. The climate isn't going to be the exact same in Ohio and in the state of New York. And it's definitely not playing quite as fast as Cincinnati, which is of course good news for especially like Iga Świątek, Carlos Alcaraz. But is it still going to be like Iga's favorite court in the world? Definitely not. But I think it gives her a chance. Like in Cincinnati, I'm not really sure she can. Like if we're playing the slam at Cincinnati, I'm not really sure she has a like more than a 5% chance to win. At the U.S. Open, it might be much bigger. But it's still medium fast at least, right? Like we cannot be treating this like a slow court. I think some of the people that like I've seen on Twitter because of Cincinnati, now they're kind of looking at the U.S. Open. They're thinking, oh, this is slow. Like it's not slow. It's still medium fast, but it's just not as fast as Cincinnati. And Cincinnati has long been one of the fastest courts on the circuit. I mean, after all, it was like Federer's favorite ATP 1000, really, and stuff like that. And for a while, Djokovic's worst ATP 1000, which of course has changed over the years, and now it's kind of his best with the adjustments that he's made to his game over the years, just making him much more of a threat in the quicker conditions and just serving like a goat after doing a lot of other things as a goat, like a goat, but now also serving like a goat. Anyway, Deuce, another game that kind of seemed comfortable for Majchrzak for a while, but it's not going to be comfortable at all. It's actually going to be a break point for Galan. And if he gets this, he will serve for the second set. So things are getting quite thrilling here. Things are getting quite intense. Kamil trying to approach the net, but he gets caught out by this low dipping backhand pass from Galan. It's not much he can do on the volley, and the Colombian will put the passing shot away. So it's a break point for Galan. As I said, a really key one if he can take it. Kamil approaching again, but this time Galan won't be able to raise the forehand pass above the net. Galan is pretty dangerous on the pass, I have to say, in this match. Like he's not really like going for the most percentage efficient pass. Like he's not really like trying to make Majchrzak play any volley. He's really trying to make it like deep low over the net, and I think he's been relatively successful at this. There's a lot of net approaches from Kamil where I'm thinking like if Galan makes the pass, I don't think Kamil is winning the point. Well, he gets this point without having to go to the net. 19 unforced errors from Majchrzak, 20 from Galan. That's what the stats guys here tell us on the screen. So even though Kamil has won a lot more games, the unforced error stats have kind of evened out. No way Galan is putting that moonball in the court, and he's still in it. Wow. Deserves a lot of credit for extending this, but Majchrzak will be able to put the volley away. And maybe this is why Galan is just not giving him these type of volleys, because I don't think he's really going to make an error on them. I mean, this time he did give them to them, but yeah. US Open 2015-19, was it slow? I think it probably wasn't medium fast. Like you wouldn't recall that, right? But yeah, probably not slow. But I think both hardcore slams play a lot faster than in that era right now. In terms of whether I like it or not, honestly, I don't know. I think maybe it would be cool if one of them stayed like very fast, like let's say Australia, and the other was a bit more gritty. But New York tends to be gritty anyway, like with the humidity and the physical conditions. The night sessions are pretty slow, so I don't know. I think the balance is fine. The beauty of tennis is that you have four equally as important biggest events in the world every single year. And well, if you fail to succeed in one, you still have three chances. If you don't like the conditions in one, you still have three other chances. So I think the way it is balanced right now is fine too. Everyone has something for himself. First point of the game goes to Majchrzak. So after just saving that break point in the 3-4 game where Galan could have served for the set, I mean, now we have a game that if Galan loses it, of course, the consequences would be drastic for him. And well, love 30 now. So he better get this right. I mean, he better start playing right now. Because we are really entering some very dangerous territory for him. Mattia Bellucci, as I said, awaits the winner of this clash in the next round. It's love 30 on the Galan serve at 4-all in the second. The Colombian has to be clean here. The Colombian has to be clutch. So far in the second set, I guess he's been that. Ooh, but yeah, definitely not on this one. I mean, this second serve doesn't even make it over the net. I don't think this second serve even got to the net, to be honest. Like, yeah, this was just pure nerves, and it's 3 breakpoints now. Of course, this is a better serve, but like Majchrzak is in the rally at least. Galan needs to be very disciplined here. It's a good angle from Majchrzak. He's gonna go line with the backhand. It's not like very close to the down the line corridor, so it allows Galan to stay in the point. Galan again slicing his way to kind of keep himself in it. It's a couple of really funky ones. Lots of side spin. He's gonna approach the net after a slice as well. It's like 3 slices in a row. He goes really like full ham at this strategy, but it works. The Majchrzak forehand pass is not gonna get over the line. I mean, get over the net. So just 2 more breakpoints for the Pole now. Galan was really hoping this first serve would have been in, but it's not. The last time he was serving with his second serve, the last time he was serving on this side, actually, he made that horrible double fault. It's not the case this time. So again, we have a rally. What an angle from Majchrzak. Is it going to be in? Yes, but he's not in, like, he's in control of the point, but he actually has to return to neutral gear. Hits the baseline here. And Galan tries to go for a drop shot, but it's one of these other horrible ones. Yeah, this is just. Well, this sums up Galan's night. But let's see if Majchrzak can sum up his night and serve out after the break. But yeah, 6-1-5-4. Kamil Majchrzak about to serve for the spot in the US Open qualifying round 3. In the meantime, Hamad Medjedovic also closed out Duja Ajdukovic, and Nishish Basav already closed out Alex Poltz. So this is actually the last match going on in the men's qualifying. And on the women's, we still have Marino Hartono. Marino has gotten it back from 1-4 to 4-all in the second set, and also Jones Shibahara just starting the second set more or less. Wookie showing his Polish colors. I like it. Is there a reason Rafa has 4 US Opens to 2 AOs, or is it just circumstance that ran into Novak in 2019? Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think the US Open also, like for years, it was just a slam that suited him much better. Novak was worse at it as well. The spin was getting more traction on the surface than in Australia, I think. Um, Bellucci has been mentioned more in the last 24 hours than in his entire career. By the way, guys, I have a shocking sort of piece of info for you. John didn't know who Monica Bellucci is. Can you believe that? It's as if someone tells you, like, I don't know who Tom Cruise is. But yeah, he didn't know Monica Bellucci. The guy knew Thomas Bellucci and the guy knew Mattia Bellucci, but didn't know Monica Bellucci. Talk about a tennis nerd then. But yeah, Majchrzak 5-4 and serving. Let's see. I was actually thinking that if there's any other men's qualifying match, we might just kind of tune into that as well, because this has been pretty short if Kamil serves it out. But well, of course, this is the last one now, so we don't really have that avenue. But let's see if he actually does serve it out. Galan is playing this drop shot here, and it's ridiculously good. I mean, I guess this is what he was trying to attempt on the previous point, when he got broken. Like, he's just showing Kamil and himself and the whole world right now. This is how it's done. This is what I was trying to do when I messed it up. But yeah, it's the first point of this game. Who knows? Yesterday, of course, Kamil was very tight. He actually had a chance to serve for the win against Zhang in the second set, but didn't make it. Nice one. Lots of precision on the +1 forehand here from Kamil, despite the low ball from Galan after block return. 30-15, just 2 points away. And once again, he approaches the net here. Lovely forehand volley. It's going to be too much points. Well, I will sort of, yeah, hold some of my thoughts right now to potentially the post-match talk. But this is good from Love 15. Like, this has been really good, the last 3 points. Gets the first serve in play. It's a deep return from Galan. He's gonna probably like smash a couple of forehands here. He kind of does, but it's still an unforced error from Kamil, I think. Drive volley. Whoa. What a final point, maybe. I mean, is it a final point? Is it a final point? There's this overhead forehand volley from Kamil as well. And yes, it is 6-1, 6-4 for the pole, as both Kashnikovsky and Majchrzak have now made it into the final round of qualifying at the US Open. And yeah, that was a great game, even the last one, honestly, from Love 15 after that ridiculous Galan drop shot. I think compared to yesterday, Kamil was like just completely on a different level in terms of clutchness, especially like in terms of the clutch factor. I was mentioning him being so tight against Zhang. That was not really the case today. I mean, he definitely had some moments, sure, but like still, he was fighting back anytime he was down in the second set. He responded well when Galan finally started bringing something. So yeah, this was nice. I mean, he's gonna have to play maybe even much better than against Galan against Bellucci tomorrow, right? I mean, not Monica Bellucci, obviously. That's Vincent Cassel, I think, with her on the photo. But well, Bellucci is maybe like the most informed guy in the qualifying. I think that's fair to say, right? So yeah, certainly it's not going to be easy. But I think after today, like he's giving himself a shot. I think at the very beginning of the broadcast, I also said that like I didn't really believe that Kamil was gonna play like yesterday twice in a row. That he was probably gonna be like at least a bit better today. And well, I think what I saw was kind of even above what I was expecting. So that's of course amazing from him to kind of get that reset. Yesterday, a very emotional victory, but he doesn't stay on that emotional high. He manages to kind of get back to normal and just play a very solid match, which I mean, he didn't really need that much more today, right? Galan was far from where he could be on a peak day, but certainly I think this is not really something that Kamil has to be thinking about. Like, yeah, he just did his job today and was far, far, far more clutch than yesterday, and just not as tight at all. So, well, yeah, Kamil is going to play Mattia Bellucci tomorrow. Mattia Bellucci defeated Federico Agustin Gomez. Mattia Bellucci has been in incredible form. Basically, he's been dispatching everybody like left and right in straight sets. Straights basically against everybody since the beginning of Kerry. This besides Roman Safiurin, where he led 6-1, 4-1, had too much points at 6-1, 5-4, and probably should have made his top 100 debut. If he qualifies, he might actually make his top 100 debut, but that will be after the US Open then. But we'll see. Anyway, what else? Also, of course, we're going to have a second poll tomorrow in the final round of qualifying as well. Max Kasznikowski playing Antoine Escoffier, so it's a pretty big thing for Polish tennis, 100%. On the women's, we still have two matches going on. Ariane Hartono 2 points away from beating Rebecca Marino, and also Ena Shibahara up a set and a break on Francesca Jones. Jake also didn't know who Bellucci was. That's no way. I mean, maybe Monica is more famous in Europe than in the US, but neither Jake nor John is from the US. They're also not from Europe. They voted to be out of Europe. So I guess they're not from Europe either. But I would be very surprised, to be honest, if there were a lot of people like in the chat or on the Talking Tennis team who didn't know who Monica Bellucci was, because she is like so famous. Like, she's literally one of the most famous actresses in the world, I think. When it comes to just like straight up, the movies she's made, probably not, but she's just really well known for her looks, basically. A small town between Legnica and Zielona Góra, Przemków, is where Łuki is from. I don't know Przemków, but of course Legnica and Zielona Góra, that does mean something to me. Even it's not a part of Poland I have explored the most. I think the whole Lubuskie voivodeship I kind of just drove through for the most part. Legnica I might have been in as a kid maybe, but also haven't really explored it again. Haven't done the sightseeing. John is global human. Kinda, yeah, sure. Where is it near? It's like near let's say more near the German border. It's definitely more to the west of Poland. He gave you two cities, so kind of already said. Legnica is in the same part of Poland as Wrocław, just more north. So, relatively, let's say between Wrocław and Poznań, I guess, if you want to have it like that. But yeah, I'm assuming it's not really that close. But yeah, he gave you two cities where it's close by to. So anyway, with Monica Bellucci on the screen, I think we can end the stream by just saying that Mattia Bellucci is going to play our winner from today, Kamil Majchrzak. As you can see, I was not harsh towards my polls today. I was praising them a lot. Ghosty left, and after he comes back on another stream, he's just gonna tell me, "Oh, Damien, once again you disrespect your mates." But I actually did it today, so let's remember that. I already pronounced your name, Jacek, so I'm probably, I just did it again. Ha! You kind of baited me into that. Anyway, 10K until the end of the US Open. I said it's not possible. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. This is a good motivator, so I'm going to keep saying that. Anyway, Miss Monica Bellucci, may you be in my dreams tonight. And Kamil Majchrzak, you can also appear, but you can, I don't know, we're going to go for a hit or something like that. It doesn't have to be the same stage as Monica Bellucci. Like, it's going to be two different scenes. Anyway, Papauki, and yeah, have a good day, Ashley. And yeah, see you guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.